What is this? Breaking. The Trump administration says it'll be reviewing all 55 million people with U.S. visas for potential deportable violations. Oh, my God. Oh, God, this country sucks so much ass, bro. I swear to God. Oh, my Lord, dude, someone's got to stop this. Like, I don't know. Good thing he's only going after the illegals, the ones without visas. Yeah. Remember, the conversation started with these guys are all criminals. Okay? Remember, the conversation started with all migrants are criminals. All undocumented migrants are doing crimes, doing like rapes. They're fucking beheading people in the streets, right? And then the hidden underlying notion, the hidden underlying premise there was that these undocumented migrants that were doing like all these fucking crimes, okay, were actually not even being prosecuted, right? That the Biden administration and the cops under the Biden regime were simply not prosecuting these criminal migrants, right? And Trump was going to do that, and then he was going to subsequently deport them. But of course, because that was a lie, and of course, people who were doing crimes, undocumented or documented, doesn't fucking matter, were being prosecuted and being sent to jail or being deported, they couldn't actually find people to deport, so they immediately went after people who were working in the fucking fields. MS-13 gang members are not sitting in a parking lot at Home Depot, man. They're not actually in the fucking fields picking crops. That's what they did. They went after those guys, and then they realized that a lot of these right-wing Republican business owners were like, dude, what are you doing? You're just like ruining our businesses. We are going to have an insane hyperinflation if you actually eviscerate the agricultural output in this country by just going after every farmhand, So he turned around and he was like, all right, we'll scale back from that. My B. But now he's like trying to aesthetically pursue like 55 million people with visas, bro, for potential deportable violations. And dumbasses don't realize, so many morons still don't realize that this is all a ruse, a very violent one, but it's a ruse nonetheless. It's so frustrating to have to entertain this completely made up alternative reality that these guys have hysterically developed because no one on the opposing side has been able to effectively counter message against it. The real goal here is to use the mechanism that the federal government controls, immigration, to make the country more white, or at least satisfy the white nativist urges of some of the most radical elements in his base. And in the process of doing so, he's just normalizing this kind of white superiority complex. He's normalizing this kind of fucking white supremacy. That's it. It's white supremacy through and through. The fuck do you mean? At its most basic level, there is fundamentally no difference between a dude that was born beyond a border and someone like yourself. The only difference is we just had more at our disposal. We had more money. We had a better upbringing. Our material conditions were better. Okay? That's it. There's no like genetic inferiority. That's what white supremacists believe. And ultimately, this is not going to solve any of the problems that he said he was going to tackle, because he didn't win because he was, because there are tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of Americans who are like, oh yeah, I can't wait to fucking pack up all of my neighbors. There are certainly people who feel that way. Make no mistake. But those numbers are not as loud and as big as you think they are. Not everyone is an Asmongold style, yeah, this is based type dipshit, okay? Most people saw the genuine problem with inflation, the affordability crisis they were experiencing, and the anger and resentment that they felt towards the institutions that was not helping them, and looked at Donald Trump and his solutions as, yeah, we'll give it a shot, because they, at the most, did not care, okay? They did not care about who was picking the crops for them. They didn't care about the humanity of these people, okay? Or they could not envision, or they were stupid enough to believe Trump's, lies, right? Or they could not envision how devastating this would be, not only for the economy, but just like the social fabric that keeps us together. And here we are. As conditions worsen, the Trump administration is actively pursuing more and more fucked up ways of implementing some kind of weird white nativist anti-immigrant agenda. This is insane. Even when people say like, oh man, I have no problem with them. Why don't they come in the right way? It's because they don't understand the right way is shut off deliberately so that they come in the quote unquote wrong way. Many of these people have come into the right way and Trump is still trying to kick them out. And not only that, but this is not a real solution. Okay. It's not a real solution at all. This is red meat to the base. I have DACA and family members that are undocumented and I live in constant anxiety. I'm just waiting for the next shoe to drop. Like, this is fucking insane. I have to stop myself from watching too much politics because I get anxiety attacks. I also live near DC, so I'm always anxious. I fucking hate it here. I'm sorry to hear that. Things are going to get better, I promise. Eventually. If not now, in the near future. Wait, hold on. I have to schedule something. I don't think so, fam. Why do you believe that? There's nothing else to do. There's nothing else to do but hope. What do you mean? We will keep pushing, okay? We will keep pushing. I still, at the end of the day, believe in the good nature of man, okay? I don't want to entertain the idea that like everyone is fucking evil. I still believe that people can be convinced, people can change their minds, people can become active, radical elements in society that will help you and your neighbors. That's it. I am living proof of this, and this community is a living, breathing, existing proof of this as well. There are plenty of people who went from, watching Ben Shapiro videos to becoming community organizers, becoming labor organizers, becoming activists, people who run for office and won. People from this community, working on campaigns like Zohran Mamdani's campaign is comprised almost entirely of fucking Hasanabi heads. So, it's you just got to keep doing, you just got to keep pushing no matter what. Put one foot in front of the next. And before you know it, you will build something out of it. You will hopefully leave a better tomorrow for the next generation. And the one after that. There's no admitting defeat, no matter how dire things get. You have to remind yourself of that. And you have to also remind yourself of like victories that you take in the process, no matter how marginal it is, right? That's it. That's why I always stress the importance of like community organizing. That's why I always stress the importance of like direct action that you take, going to protests, going to rallies, going to DSA meetings, going to PSL meetings. The reason why I say that is because when you're there, you are reminded that there are so many other people who feel the exact same way that you do. Maybe many more that just don't have the tools to communicate exactly what their anxieties and their frustrations are, but they're right there. So it's up to all of us to show them. It's up to all of us to basically show them that no, you're not in the wrong for feeling this way. When you see something that just smells weird to you and you're like, I don't really fuck with this, you're supposed to pull them out of that stupor, okay? You cannot buy the revolution. You cannot make the revolution. You can only be the revolution. It is in your spirit or it is nowhere. Ursula Le Guin. There's also a great feeling there too. Like I said this already, solidarity is an expression of love. It's the closest that you feel, like the warmness that you feel being surrounded by people who are like-minded, who are good people, who just actively want to change these horrible systems, who want to do right by others. Okay? There's a lot of optimism there. Zohran is a great example of this. Like you can use that as a jump off point. And that's why I always try to stamp out pessimists. One of my close friends recently broke from the Republican way of thinking. My old self would have made fun of him, but after watching Hassan for a while, I've learned that an empathetic approach is the most useful because I was able to help my friend understand why the institutions fail us and that the anger we felt should be directed to both parties. Yes, exactly. This is why I always try to fucking explain to people, like, there are others who are more radical than me in the methods that they apply, in the way that they communicate about certain things. I'm never going to be that person. I'm always going to be the person who tells you, I understand the power of social conditioning and the way that like the average person takes for granted a lot of structural inequalities as just the reality. Okay. And therefore, within these structures, in order to tackle these structures from within, you have to be more graceful with people who are even spewing hateful shit at times. You have to remind yourself that everyone has the capacity to learn. Everyone has the capacity to change. I think hardening your perspective to signal your moral superiority unironically comes across as off-putting to many people. And I totally understand why people go, well, off-putting, tough titties, we're right, they're wrong. I get it, but you're not going to actually win a lot of people on board, win a lot of people to your side by doing that, right? And the goal is to cast a wide net and engage in that deprogramming and try to get people on board. Try to get people to realize what the truth is, that this system is designed in a way where these violent outcomes are taking place. You can't just leave people experiencing those violent outcomes rudderless. You can't just leave those people alone and just like hope that they inevitably arrive at a copy of like, I don't know, a copy of like Marxist literature. That's not going to happen. That's never going to happen. You just have to guide them in that direction. You have to explain to people why things are the way that they are.